This is the Dude Bros Podcast. This is the Dude Bros Podcast. This is the Dude Bros Podcast.
Real quick.
Oh, we have video.
Oh. Gonna happen right away. This ad's from 58. 58 is gonna have him dead to rights, and then he's gonna fucking avoid him and fall over. Watch.
Wham. Cheetahs.
It's like you're playing Madden NFL and you accidentally hit circle when you're supposed to hit triangle.
Oh, the hit stick was the worst for me. You remember having the hit stick and you had to get it just right? And if you did it wrong, it jank you the other way. It was the worst.
Yell.
That was from Adam on X.
Shout out
Adam.
But I don't know if the hand the whole time covering half the screen with your finger up somebody's butt is necessary. But yeah, exactly. Like that is literally the play that I saw. I told you that, and then of course,
Good snag.
yeah, you gotta like that. This is another thing. Sorry. So
Now to Brock Lesnar.
well, do you know who R-Truth is, first of all?
No.
I know you're not in the wrestling realm really by any means at all. You being the wrestling guy.
I believe R-Truth is the oldest tenured wrestler in any of those organizations at this point.
I don't know if I can confirm or deny.
I'm pretty sure I read that statistic not too long ago because I believe he was just released from, oh goodness, it was one of them and he joined another. But yeah, been around a long, long time.
Right. So I saw a video recently trending where he was saying that he was John Cena's brother, right? And he was saying that he was Ron Cena. Exactly. That had me. And I was like, oh, I don't remember him being this funny. So I just typed in, R-Truth funny. And I found this compilation here.
Oh, nice.
And it's him being apparently the...
Beautiful.
It's good stuff.
That's beautiful.
if you were in the crowd, like I would have absolutely been the loudest person there in that gym. No matter what.
Oh, yeah.
You always enjoy a good performance, right?
Well, that's the thing. It became a trope where he's messing with Brock Lesnar in particular.
Mm-hmm.
He's going off script. So much so that now it's at the point where you question, is the off script on script? You know what I'm saying? So that's where the good stuff really happens, but that's also where you kind of, the suspension of disbelief fades out and you don't like it. But I will say, it might go further, it might go too over the top, but at this point in time, I have been thoroughly, just from that right there, I was entertained in that brief moment there. That was pure gold for me.
You always like I think in SNL terms, I forget what the exact terminology is, but when it's the forced laugh break, like forcing of the breaking of a character because you can tell that a bit's not going well or a sketch is not going well, and so they try to make each other laugh because that's what's going to get the audience involved and still have fun, even though maybe the writing didn't pan out the way they thought it would.
Right.
Fallon did that shit so much that a lot of his cohorts did not like doing scenes with him.
I think Fallon just did a lot of drugs.
Well, he did like the powders. I guess it smelled pretty good.
I think he literally just had no real self-control over a lot of things. Having fun and just being unprofessional, as it were.
I was thinking more about Bill Hader, tying it back into a couple of our most recent DBR videos, but he's one of those that when he breaks, it always gets me because for the most part, he can really commit into a character. You obviously got the Stefan.
I was about to say, hold on.
But that whole thing is just about who does the writing
John
for it?
Mulaney.
Kid. Ball with the ball. Why would that be the person's name that we would forget right now? Anyways, when he does the Stefan bit, it's literally just reading his writing, and it just breaks him down every time live on camera because he's never seen any of the compilations before. You know exactly who it is.
I have no
You know.
I thought it was Kid Rock.
Kid Gorgeous.
Bill Hader, though, what a fucking guy. He's one of the funniest people, I think, that has been underrated for a long time. He finally, Barry really kind of stepped fully into, the spotlight, we'll say, but I think he had a solid 10, 15 years before that where he was putting out pure gold. And he was, didn't really get the recognition truly deserved.
Definitely not. And tying it back in here, if you have somebody, even cast members do, or not cast members, but the guest stars will go on there, and if they're able to actually make the cast break, those become their own little fun compilations to get like the really, I'd say like heavy hitter committed people. Like if you get Phil Hartman or somebody to break, or like more recently, I guess Kate McKinnon was a hard one to get to break for certain scenes. Those are always. I'm reminded of the Bill Hader one where he's in the wheelchair, and he's supposed to be like Cecily Strong's boyfriend or something like that, and they're sitting at the table, and he's driving the little scooter around, and he's just like obnoxiously banging into their table, and he's just committed to the face, and they're like, their wine's going everywhere, all this kind of stuff. That's as far as appreciating Bill Hader, that's pretty top marks for me. Very simple gag. He's not going out saying anything outlandish. He's literally just taking that wheelchair and slamming it into a table.
That's a lot of discipline, though. A lot of control.
Oh, yeah.
To not break yourself, to maintain, to keep every posture that you have.
He broke a little bit at the end, but for the most part, he committed to it.
Will Ferrell for me, though. He's got like a whole compilation of breaking people. It's just very, very good. But it seems like would be the hardest person to try to break just because he basically lives, sleeps, and breathes comedy. So you've got to really be on your P's and Q's because it's more often him breaking himself in those skits. It's not other people breaking him, and it's good stuff. Just because of the characters he full on commits to. Very good.
You always enjoy when the actor does get themselves going, except when it's they're smelling their own farts and it's
right. But I mean,
that's very clear distinction. There's no gray here.
But those early 2000s Will Ferrell is very, very top notch. Especially, I remember listening to an interview from the cast. Like anytime, he would be famous for getting on screen and being like in a Speedo or something like that, right? And they would talk about how he would just purposely eat so terribly that whole week leading up, so he could just look
bloated,
as horrible as he could when he's putting on like the American flag Speedo or whatever it is in that one bit. Just pouring over himself, and everybody's just like, they can't deal with Will Ferrell up there.
It's full commitment, and that's why we pay the money.
You got to have more cowbell.
I mean, so here, let's go into that. Best SNL sketches for Will Ferrell specifically. I mean, I think cowbell
universally
low-hanging fruit, as Brian would say.
Saw the shirts.
Saw
the shirts.
Celeb Jeopardy, that's always...
Oh, yeah. Him playing off Sean Connery, Daryl Hammond. Anal bum cover. That's an album cover. If you had Sean Connery and you had Norm Macdonald as Burt Reynolds up there, I was thinking about Norm today. That was such a great Burt Reynolds. Just because, I mean, he wasn't doing anything over the top.
Yeah,
he was just the very subtle, chewing of the gum mannerisms, just like bobbing his head, just like, doing it justice.
I think he was nailing it.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to think if you had to put, before I do want to come back to the Will Ferrell thing, but who's the third spot of your favorite Celebrity Jeopardy performers that's up there too? Because obviously you got to put Daryl Hammond, Sean Connery. That's number one.
Mine's a more recent one.
Oh, really?
The Tom Hanks bit with him as a MAGA guy. Doug, I think his name is.
Oh, yeah.
Black Jeopardy.
Yeah, Black Jeopardy, yeah.
That's fucking gold, man.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was the whole Tom Hanks is America's Dad episode of SNL, if I remember right.
What use is a skinny woman? Not a damn thing. Doug, you're all right. I think, Doug, you're okay. You're all right.
I do like when they break the race relations sometimes. I think they had a not too long ago skit where they were doing like a news report, and they were basically hedging their bets on, they would start out saying whatever the horrendous event was.
Oh, the Shangri-La skit.
Yeah, and they would try and guess like which ethnicity was the one who performed it, and it was whites versus blacks. And so they were going back and forth to be like, So they stole a car. Oh, and the black people are like, shoot, like all this kind of stuff. And then like, it was a meth head. And they're like, oh, that was that was a very good sketch that I really enjoyed.
No, I thought that was funny too.
I will say counter that. I did not like that. I feel like that was something that didn't diffuse any racial tension. It was subtly trying to, bring light to it, but on the undertones still pushing.
I could see where an argument's made for that, but did it make you laugh though?
No, actually.
Okay, well, I laughed. I enjoyed it.
I did, but I actually watched that live. I do.
Did you? I watched
in this very place right here.
So back to Will Ferrell. I like the Lovers sketch with him and Rachel Dratch, and they would be in the jacuzzi hot tub, and usually most of the time it seemed like Jimmy Fallon would be in there because they knew Jimmy Fallon would not keep it together when Will Ferrell and Rachel Dratch would start making out with each other. But that was a funny one. Obviously, the cheerleaders with Sherry O'Terry, that was a good bit that they ran for a long time. And then Anna Gasteyer, when they're on the piano and they're making up the song, they would take current songs and they would kind of remix them or do it in a very like super white way. Those are some classic Wills.
I'm trying to think out of that. I'm sorry, I got stuck on the Jeopardy thing. I'm still like, I've got.
Oh, did you pick your third one yet?
No, I've got two that I'm kind of tangling with, but then also I'm like, I know I'm missing somebody who's the clear answer who's going to blow that away, and I don't want to kick myself for missing.
Jim Carrey as Matthew McConaughey. That was a good one.
I didn't like that one.
I liked it. He was very much going off the whole Lincoln commercials whenever he did that, but
right.
Yeah. I've got a booger here. What am I going to do with it? Am I going to throw it out the window? Or am I going to put it in my mouth?
Filthy.
Mm.
Filthy.
You're right. I think there is an obvious one.
That's
They had an episode with whoever the third person was. Maybe Will Ferrell's last.
I'm going to have to look that up. I'll edit that in. Oh, yeah. The clear answer is wear a different shirt coming in. Hair's bleached blonde. On ball and that. No, funny. I like where I thought you were going, but where you didn't go with the race stuff on there and tied to the comedy. Because I don't know why it triggered it, but there was, this is old as shit, but an old interview I saw with Richard Pryor, and it was like one of the more, we'll say, serious kind of ones, heartfelt ones. And he was saying, why do you think this? Why do you think this happened to you? You've done all that. And he didn't take the, I'm going to make a joke about it because enough time has passed from there. He said, why do you think there's any controversy with it? He said, I don't think they want me to come out here and do the comedy specifically when it refers to the racial relations, because when you have, and the guy cut him off. He said, oh, because you're inciting war. He said, no. I think that if anything, my comedy is helping to relieve that tension, and that's something they don't want. And the guy was like, this is like 1980, 1990 time frame. He's like, I don't know how to do it. I can't process this right now.
Read me the lines.
Statue face.
He was like, so what do you do? So are you, try, how am I going to say anything at all to spin this river? He's like, no. I think people realize that, you and I are pretty much the same, and we like the same stuff, and it's all good and groovy, man. We might stop hating each other and start hating the right people. And he said, cut. Like, and, but he literally goes, like, clears his throat and like looks, and he's like, and who are the right people? He said, them greedy mother. And then it cuts. But I was just like,
Respect.
Yeah, that's. And then his career just died, and so did he.
So you're thinking that Ron Cena is kind of performing a breaking of the. What's got you?
You almost got me to break.
The breaking down of more race relations in that format.
I think that character that is being portrayed has absolutely gone across the board, because, you saw when they were doing that chant, the loudest people up there was that goofy white dude in, I think, a Vikings jersey, Roxanne, and.
Well, I like that that's come about, because trying to break people during live or promos is kind of a game that some of those talents will play with each other.
Robert Brown's his whole face twitching.
Oh yeah,
voluntarily.
he's about to have a stroke. But one of the most famous Unbreakable people was the Undertaker. The Undertaker, because there's dozens of stories of people trying to break him. They thought they had him, and it was Bradshaw is apparently the one that got the closest to breaking Undertaker, other than Stone Cold Steve Austin, because those were the only two bits where he didn't really break, but if there was anything any closer to that, you know what I'm saying, or you couldn't get any closer.
The line.
Yeah, one was JBL was tearing into him, and he kind of went off script, and he's like, you know what, because Undertaker had just taken a long vacation with his wife. They went in an RV, went around the country and stuff. And JBL's like, you know what you need to do? You need to go get you an RV, and you need to get out there, and you need to see the world, big dead man. And you can watch Undertaker in this skit, and he is literally chewing a hole through the bottom of his lip, and he's just kind of staring him down and shaking his head, but he doesn't get him. And the other one is Stone Cold Steve Austin, and one of those guys at the back end after he come back and was kind of flirting out or whatever. Yeah, and it had like Kane, Undertaker, they're all in a big group, and Vince is giving them like the hoorah speech, and Kurt Angle's there, and Austin is Team McMahon at this point, and he's just pumping up everything, and he's like slapping and getting, yeah, Team Brotherhood, and he does that to Austin one time. Austin does that to Undertaker one time. He just kind of stares at him, and he just cuts his head over like this, like trying to scratch his nose, and he comes back, he's like, if you ever touch me again.
Yeah.
But it was gold. So those are real funny. If you can get them live and it's genuine, that's good stuff. But they're really trying to bring that blur the lines kind of thing back with the more reality look. And
well, they're doing that with politics too.
But he had such a specific character that he had to stay into, where if you broke that at all, the illusion would be broken forever. So good on him for sticking to it.
I mean,
not as many as it used to be.
Well, also, what about people who did multiple characters, like Mankind, kind of things like that?
But he's kind of
that was one that I like.
To be fair,
what did you say? That's a real person.
Brian, you want to take DudeLove for me?
Do you want to take DudeLove for me?
I mean, we're the Dude Bros. I feel like there should at least be. I mean,
that's he's all about love, man.
Yeah.
Still feel violated right now. That got touched inappropriately on camera. We've got the documents.
A hippie wrestler, kind of like you said, all about love and all that. Mm-hmm. Of course, he also had a couple other alter egos, and one of them was the horrific Mankind, almost like a Jekyll Hyde type of thing. If you want to look at it that way, but
Mankind, I guess that could be fun.
Faces too.
If he was just strictly DudeLove, that would be.
No, yeah.
Well, Cactus Jack was his real hardcore. That was his biggest character for a while, especially when he was in the ECW, because that was all about cutting people up, bleeding, the terrible hardcore matches. Yeah, and that was very much his calling card, was extreme violence. That was Mick Foley. He destroyed his body to put on those shows. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Mankind was definitely his biggest character. He definitely made the most money with Mankind, but everybody knows who Cactus Jack is. Most people know who DudeLove is. But he's kind of a one-off in that respect, though, because yes, there's talent that changed their image, but it's because that image was shit and it wasn't working or it wasn't selling. Stone Cold Steve Austin's a perfect example. He was Sterling Steve Austin for many, many years. He was in WCW and they fired his ass. But he also got hurt and
right. I want to stay on that vein.
Okay.
Are you aware that tonight will be John Cena's return to the ring? He will be wrestling.
But he retired.
Oh, no. He will be returning. And there's rumor that a certain blonde pretty boy who you predicted will have a heel turn may very well be the opponent that faces off against John Cena. You heard it here, folks.
You got to promote Peacemaker too, right? In the new season coming up. Got to have the multiple revenue streams, as one would say.
Yeah, back to what we were talking about. I don't think changing character is easy, and very rarely does it take. Undertaker was a couple different things in different places before he got that hook. You know what I mean?
Were you ever a fan for anything like that, the transition? Any character at all?
Man, I have to think about it.
Me personally, I couldn't see myself especially if there's a drastic shift, you don't root for, yeah, I'm rooting for the mean bad man who's now this nice guy. Or when people have the heel turns, you are rooting for the hero, chiseled, pretty boy who now is this one doing the nasties.
Well, I mean, for my money, the best heel turn in the history of wrestling was obviously Hulk Hogan making the turn to NWO.
That took a lot of greenbacks, and that's
he had
that'll make you spin
creative control. When he went to WCW, he basically robbed the castle. He took I mean,
you're not wrong.
The deals he signed walking in there, including he had full creative control over his character. So if they said, you do this, and he didn't want to do it, guess what? He didn't fucking do it. And I think it was the Starcade, is when Sting was supposed to win the belt, was the first time he actually used his creative control, and the match was botched, and it was a bunch of bullshit and pissed a bunch of people off.
Sometimes you got to pull it.
Well, talent can't have creative control. You cannot do that.
Oh, that's a bold claim.
It is. I mean, there's probably a good portion of people out there that would get offended and probably argue pretty.
Yeah, well, wrestling hasn't been doing that good lately, so.
But you are the talent. You want some creative control, right?
If I'm the talent, I'm being given an opportunity to play in their script. They're writing this show. I'm not writing this show. Now, if I want to keep my job, I've got to do a really good job. So now you can have some arguments about how your character's developing, or maybe I want to wear this color.
I'm not wearing that purple dress.
Right.
I'll wear the red one.
Right.
But not the purple.
Look at Dusty Rhodes. I mean, Cody's dad. He was supposed to be the hood ornament to take over all the territories and stuff, and he just couldn't see running all the other guys out of business, basically. It was $2,000 of a venture for him, and he didn't want to have part in basically ruining wrestling for everybody except for him, But Vince absolutely ridiculed his character after that. He used to kind of have to come out in like polka dots, and they spoofed on, if you don't do what you're told and do a good job, they're either going to fuck up your character or they're just going to flat out release you. So I don't think talent should have creative control, because there's too many egos in wrestling, and everybody wants to be the number one guy. And there has to be somebody that's a little bit away from it that can big vision stuff to make those decisions.
Got to have the director. I mean,
Correct.
I'm going to cross lines here, because all I'm foreseeing is you've got somebody who has something that they've poured their heart and soul toward it. They've written it down on page. They've gone around and they've shopped it to these different studios. The studio finally picks it up. A director gets attached who sees the vision that the writer's trying to do, maybe some tweaks along the way, maybe 6 or 7 usually. But by the time it gets to the day that they film and the talent goes up and they read the line and say, oh, my character wouldn't say that, and then start approaching it from they get to dictate the way that the story goes, it's up to the director to make that call. Are you going to let your talent come in and start stepping on the writer's toes, or maybe even change your vision? So I say that to bring up the point that I agree with you in that sense, is that there's got to be a balance. But also at the same time, you get some really good stuff when the talent comes and says, hey, I've become this character. I've got an opinion. Why don't we workshop it together?
100%. And that's how it's supposed to be. When you're in the creative meeting, but if that's an idea,
but ultimately the director still gets the call.
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think in an ideal world where the characters are devoid of their own ego, it's a non-issue.
Right. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, but I think you hit the nail on the head with it's the people that too much are, I know this would play the absolute best for us, but maybe it doesn't put me in the best light, so I don't like that. I'd rather do this, which isn't going to play so well. And then those snowball into, no, he doesn't win the title.
Well, perfect example. It's old one at this point and world renowned, but the Montreal Screwjob. Bret Hart was leaving.
You seen Ocean's 11? They explain it.
Okay.
It does sound like something.
Yeah. Bonnie Rebel. Trouble.
Montreal Screwjob. Oh.
To Cliff Note it as best I can.
Pregnant nuns.
Those who don't know what that is. Bret Hart was leaving the WWE, and he was going to WCW. He got a massive contract. Vince helped him get that contract, and the only thing Vince needed him to do was drop the belt before he left. That's it. He didn't want to do it in Canada. And he was literally leaving the next day to go film with WCW. And he wanted to do this and that and the third, and they were supposed to have a big smudge job. Everybody comes out, they throw the match out, blah, 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 no problem. That's not what happened. Shawn Michaels played the puppet, put him in the sharpshooter, and the ref rang the fucking bell, and they start, that was the Montreal Screwjob. But to the point, the talent didn't want to do what he was told. He got his feelings involved, his ego, didn't want to lose the belt in Canada, blah, 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 blah. You can't have that. So you get things like the Montreal Screwjob or the Wendy Richter thing, women's champion way back when, So it bees like that sometimes. But you got to do what's best for business, especially when your business is living and dying on the edge of a knife. Because back then, Stone Cold wasn't real big yet. They were still trying to build over there.
It was a very precarious time period for the whole.
They were months where they were losing money. Yeah, it was not a good time for Vince. He was hammering ass to try to make some money.
Hammering ass.
Literally and figuratively. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm just super impressed with your plethora of knowledge of the wrestling world. I'd say of any topic I've ever heard you discuss, I would be surprised if I could pull anything fast on you in that regard. I might start trying to find a way to do it. Who is Kid Gorgeous? What is his name?
Who said culture is dead? This is Jeff Hardy.
Ooh.
Still got it.
I wrote Jeff Hardy off completely, but I will say just in the last probably month and a half, he's grown on me. Every bit that I see more and more, I'm just like, all right, okay.
He loves his brother. That's one thing you can say about him, because he's been invited to be in the Hall of Fame a few times, and he refused to go without his brother. And there's reasons for that. His brother had a real rough time there for a while with all of the
Ed Hardy, the shirts.
Anyway, I like him.
We'll touch back on that in the next episode. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. So, thanks for watching, folks.
Kev's making 2 layers for his cheesecake. One with white chocolate, the other with milk chocolate. Very fancy.
See what that tastes like.
Verdict?
Perfect.
Smashing. Finally, he places one chocolate layer on top of the other and chills.